Hi, beautiful people, and welcome to Heart Joy Crochet. My name's Jill. Thanks for joining me today to learn how to single crochet. I crochet in US terms, but the UK term would be double crochet. Single crochet is typically the first stitch that most crocheters learn. In today's tutorial, you will learn how to single crochet, how to use stitch markers, and how to count your stitches. Today, you will need some yarn, a crochet hook, and some stitch markers. If you're really keen to learn how to use the stitch markers and you don't have any on you at the moment, some people I've seen use bobby pins, so you could use that as an alternative for today. So let's get crocheting. I'm going to start by making a slip knot and a starting chain. If you haven't learned how to do those yet, links to my videos on those subjects will be in the description. Okay, so I'm going to make a foundation chain of 16 chains. I'm making my chains with a 6mm hook today, so they're looser and easier for you to see. So to work our first single crochet, we need to find our second chain from the hook. So you have the loop on the hook, which does not count as a chain. Then if you look underneath, straight underneath there, you can see right there is your first chain. That's not where we're going into. We're going to go into the second chain. So right underneath that one, you can see the V there. That's your second chain. So insert your hook under the top loop of the second chain. Yarn over by bringing the yarn from the front to the back. Pull through the first loop on your hook. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. And there is your first single crochet. So now we'll use our stitch marker. So identifying the first and last stitches of the row can be challenging for new crocheters, and using a stitch marker makes it easy. So if I just go like that, if you can see there, there's a V. That's the top of your first single crochet. I'm just going to insert my stitch marker into the V there through the 2 loops of yarn. And there we go, it's in there. So as you practice and become more experienced, you probably won't need these stitch markers anymore for the beginning and the end stitches of the row, but for now when you're learning, they're a lifesaver. Okay, so now you're looking for the next chain to crochet into. You can see this large hole here. This is the elongated chain where the first crochet went into. So we don't want to crochet into there as there's already a stitch in there. So the next chain is next to that right here. So insert your hook under the top loop, yarn over by bringing the yarn from the back to the front, pull through the first loop, yarn over again, pull through the 2 loops on your hook. That's your next crochet. Here's this big hole again. We don't want to crochet into there, we want to crochet into the next chain. Insert your hook into the top loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops. Not crocheting into there, into the next chain. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. We're going to keep going until we're nearly at the end of this row. Okay, so we're nearly at the end of our row. How many chains can you see left? I can see 1, 2, and 3. So we're just going to finish off here. This last one here you can see is actually the slip knot. So now we're going to look at counting our stitches. So I'm just going to take the hook off and I'm going to show you here. This is the V of the single crochet. So you can see the V there. And then the top of that stitch is right here. It's a nice V there. So that's how we're going to be counting our stitches. We're going to count the V's on top. So we'll go down to the end. And you can see where we've got our stitch marker is the first one. So that's the first V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and the one with the loop on it right here, 15. So we've got 15 stitches. If you're wondering why we originally chained 16 but now we only have 15 stitches, so remember on our first row we single crocheted into the second chain from the hook, so that's where our extra chain went. So now we'll start our second row. To do this we need to chain 1 like this and turn our work. The reason we chain 1 is to ensure the yarn is at the correct working height for the next row. So now we have our loop on the hook and our chain is just below it right here. So in the first row that we did, we were working into chains, but in this row we'll be working into the single crochets from the previous row. So beneath the chain here is our first stitch. You can pull it apart like this, and you can also identify it by the V on top. This is where we're going to make our first single crochet. So insert your hook into the space below the V. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Okay, there's your first single crochet of this row. So again, we're going to mark the first stitch of the row by looking at the V's here and inserting your stitch marker in here. Alright, so we'll keep going. So you can see this is where we just put the stitch into now. So we're not going to put the stitch in there, it's already got a stitch. We're going to go along to the next space here. You can see there's a space here and there's a V on top. So we're going to insert into there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's your second crochet. So keep going. So that's the stitch we just crocheted into. So we're not going to crochet in there, that big hole. We're going to go along to the next stitch, which is right here with the V on top. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Okay, we're just going to keep going until the end of the row. Insert, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Insert your hook in here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so now we're at the end of the row. So that's the stitch we just crocheted into. And we can see now we've got 1, 2 stitches left. So I'm going to crochet into the second last stitch. And then because we've got the stitch marker here, we can tell that this is the last stitch. So I'm just going to crochet into there. You can do it like that, or you can take the stitch marker out first. And there we go. We'll just take it out. Okay, so now I've just gone ahead and done a few more rows of single crochet so you can see what this little swatch looks like. You can keep going ahead and practicing as much as you want, obviously. As practice makes perfect. There we are. That's a swatch of single crochet. Congratulations on learning the single crochet. Let me know how you went in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more tutorials like this, it would be so great if you would subscribe to Heart Joy Crochet. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.